Welcome back to the garage. I just wanted to make a quick little video update showing you the part I was able to locate for the track bar mount for the swap that I'm doing. If you're not familiar, it was a 2002-2003 leaf spring 6-liter front end, and I've converted it basically almost all the way to a 2016 style front end. Obviously it's got a 4-link on it, but essentially it's the newer style axle, newer style parts. But I wanted to talk about the track bar situation that I ran into, which is that one was the one that came in the BDS 4-link kit, and this was one that was extremely cheap that I found on Google. I think it was made by Tuff Country, whatever the case is. It was extremely cheap, like under $100 shipped. But this one is from a 05 to 08, and this one is for a, I guess, 8 to the future. And the reason why these are different is, besides the fact that this is a BDS one and it does have this adjustable eccentric, I guess, cam you would call it here, this one does not have the eccentric. It's built a little bit different, and it actually mounts up a smidge differently. For example, this and this are different, where this one bolts in the front of the truck and this one bolts from the back of the truck. It doesn't change anything at all. It's just how it mounts up on the actual cross member support. But the biggest difference, and the reason why I had to source out these parts, was because if you look at it from this angle, you'll notice that the track bar mounts are actually way different length from this point of view. They're still both meant for a 4-inch lift, but this one was meant for a 2016 frame, which I have to imagine must have been a little bit longer or something. I don't know if I can show you that, but in either case, this hole had nowhere to go into. It would basically fall like right on this hump, and it looks like it could have gone into that hole, but there would have been no meat supporting the actual bracket itself. It would just be on this thin little ledge right here, and it actually didn't fit very well. So I'm just gonna assume that BDS did a good job if I had a 2016 truck, but because I don't, I'm assuming that's why it didn't fit right. But this one, its tongue is way longer here, so it actually does extend all the way to the front flat spot of the frame rail. Now, it does look like I'm going to have to drill that hole right there into the frame, which is not a big deal. I've drilled plenty of holes in this frame already. All of them came out straight and perfect, so I'm not worried about that. It's just a matter of, I really didn't want to modify that whole system to fit the truck, and I also didn't want to modify the truck to fit the bracket. And what I found out is, so Ford, when they made the 6-liter, there's 2 major generations, which is the leaf spring and the coil spring generations. The leaf spring and the coil spring generation frames are almost identical. Almost. There's a couple differences. Most of them you can do just by getting the right parts and putting them on, but some things you can't do. But in either case, what people were saying is that if you went ahead and found the 05, 08 track bar link mount, it would just bolt up perfectly to the frame, considering that these are both 6-liter trucks, and Ford didn't change a lot between those 2 years. So it should just be almost a bolt on and go. Almost, but again, I had some weird things going on, which is, yeah, this is an older coil or leaf spring front end truck, but I did put a 4-link and a lift on it with coil over, so there's some wonkiness when it comes to that topic in itself. But everything bolted up pretty much normally, and it was just this part that needed to be sourced out, and I could only find one supplier of this part that I could use. And like I said, it was dirt cheap. It was under $100, and I figured, hell, if I got it and it didn't fit, I would just chop up the pieces I need to put them on here to make it work. I mean, I do have a plasma cutting table. I could have built one, but I'm in a time crunch right now, so that's not really something I was too interested in taking on. But yeah, I'm actually super happy. When I bolt it all on, I'll give you an update video to show you it all mocked up and lined up. But this one does in fact go right on. Besides the 1, 2, 3 holes you're gonna have to drill, this hole is gonna be drilled, and these 2 extra ones are gonna have to be drilled. But you could index the first hole onto the cross member pretty simply. But yeah, I'm getting pretty close. I hit a couple snags in my projects this week, but that's why they call it a project. But I hopefully have the parts on order. Everything should be here sometime next week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into a roller next week, but that's the hope and the dream. Just going to keep on pushing and waiting for parts to show up and figuring out what fits and doesn't fit. But at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm out of the weeds. Everything has fit so far. Well, mostly fit. I've made it fit, figured it out, got it to work. But just a recap on what parts of it has gone into this truck. So it's going to be a 6.7 liter 2016 steering box. The axle is a funny one. It's a little bit of a 2012, 2013 hybrid axle. The axle itself was sold to me as a 2016. It's not. It's the 2nd generation axle. And the knuckles don't fit my calipers, but I'm almost positive, and I bought the right knuckles, that the knuckles should bolt right onto that axle. So the body of it will be the 2nd generation, and the knuckles will be the 3rd generation. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but it's coming together. But I'm hoping this helps anybody who's interested in taking on this project, which I recommend don't trying it. But if you do, this will definitely get you caught up to speed in what you're going to need.